Hi guys, welcome to part 2 of our strengths training. I'm so excited. I hope you enjoyed last night's team call, and I will let Alissa actually just go ahead and start and introduce and get this part 2 started.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Last night was really cool. Thank you guys so much for just honoring it with your time and your energy. I felt all of you, and it just seemed like people really started to understand themselves, and that's what strengths is all about. If you weren't on the call last night, I'm Alissa. I've been with Ash since about 2017. I haven't actively been building the business for over 2 years, almost 2 years now. So I've been working. I went through personal issues. I raised 3 little kids. They're 6, 4, and 1. But I've been doing strengths since about the same time. So 2017, started doing it for my dad's mortgage company. He oversaw 100 people. We started utilizing strengths and immediately seeing the results. And most recently, I did a leadership retreat with his team, which was so impactful. So I'm really excited to be here with you guys. I feel that you lead in such a unique way that this is going to be really great for you and your team. So thank you guys all for being here. Last night we had some technical difficulties, so I'm hopeful for today. I cannot see your chat when I'm presenting on the screen, so that's why I have my phone. And so I'll be looking there. Please feel free to ask a question, engage, talk in the chat, and I'll reference it as we go along. But I have started a business doing strengths coaching. It's called Mana and Grace. Mana obviously meaning strength, right? And grace meaning giving ourselves grace and grace to others. So that's where I'm presenting out of today. But for today's discussion, it's a little different than yesterday. Yesterday was getting to know ourselves and really owning who we are. And we went through name it, claim it, aim it, right? And so today we're going to be going over how do we connect our strengths and how we lead with our team or our builders, right? And you guys are actually going to know how to do this more than I, because I don't have a doTERRA business yet, right? So I'm excited to see how you guys resonate with all of this too. So the topics we're going to go over is your role, leading with your strengths, knowing the strengths of your team, and helping create successful partnerships with you and those builders. Super exciting. So if you remember yesterday, we said a little quote from Donald Clifton. Another spin on that quote is, if you spend your life trying to be good at everything, you will never be great at anything. And I think that's so true, right? We were saying, if you work on your weakness, you're only going to be good. But if you work on your strengths, it's like brightening that star, right? And instead of being well-rounded, we want to be bright, shining stars. Those 5 strengths that you have are the 5 points of the star. The more you enhance that, the more you get into that, the brighter your star is going to shine, right? And that's what we want. We want people to be excellent at what they're already good at. And so we know a few leaders that have utilized their strengths. Winston Churchill is known for his bold and commanding leadership. And we kind of pin his quotes on Pinterest or post it on social media. But I didn't really know too much about him until I looked into his quotes. And he actually helped during the World War II. And he led with boldness and courage. And one of his quotes is, "I never worry about action, but only inaction." If you're on the call last night, we sort of went through some of the strengths, and I don't know if you guys can hear a strength in Winston Churchill's quote, but that to me sounds like an achiever or an activator, somebody that wants to get it done, right? By doing nothing, you're doing nothing, right? And then there's Gandhi, right? He's known for his calm and quiet approach to a domineering leadership, completely opposite from Winston Churchill, right? And one of his quotes is, "An eye for an eye only ends up making the whole world blind." And again, if you are hearing strengths in that, there's harmony. There's some type of connectedness, right? Or a belief that he truly believes in. And while both are amazing leaders, they're both leading with their strength, right? And the same can go for you. And so your strength leadership, your leadership strength is so important. It's impossible to lead effectively without knowing who you are. You can't forget the most critical ingredient in your mentorship or in your leadership that you provide your team is you. Without you, without who you are, it won't thrive, right? So you have to know who you are and what you bring to the table. And you need to know your strengths. Like a carpenter or a physician knows theirs, they can call on the right strength, call on the right tool when they need it. So as we noticed last night, we kind of have strengths in different domains. And I'll go over those domains again today, but the domains kind of show us like, okay, I'm more strategic thinking, I'm more relationship building, maybe more influencing or executing, right? And so if we're working with our team and we're calling on this executing strength to help them get something done, or now we need to call in our influencing strength to kind of pump up the volume in the business or whatever it is, right? You just have to know who you are though, and know what you have in your pocket, know the tools in your tool belt, in your toolbox, so you can get that out and use it effectively with your team, right? Remember, talent is when we use it productively over and over and over again, right? Okay, so your importance as a leader, it's so important. I've trained, like I said, at a leadership retreat that's with a traditional business, right? And so their leaders are managers and they have a unique role in the company, right? They aren't really able to make crazy decisions like the owner can, but they also have to get people engaged. I see you guys as unique types of leaders that you have the ability to set the tone for how somebody receives you and your leadership and your team that you're cultivating, but also set the tone for doTERRA, the company. How are people seeing doTERRA when they see you, right? And that is off of your leadership ability. And when you invest and trust in those that you lead, they will actually be more motivated. And so that's what's interesting, is that in the past, leaders have led followers, I guess, by these principles, I guess. Getting a paycheck, people just being satisfied with their job, right? Just it's content. There's a boss, or they're being bossed, right? There's annual reviews only once a year. There's weaknesses, not ever talking about what they're doing right. So imagine that a whole year goes by and you're only talking about the things they didn't do right. That's pretty bad. And then it's just a job, right? Where now we've moved into an age where people are looking for purpose. They're looking for development, a coach, ongoing conversations, not just that one time a year thing. And they want to focus on their strengths and how does everything connect to their life, right? It's no longer just a job. They literally want to have that life balance, that whole life balance approach, right? And that's such a unique opportunity that doTERRA and this business provides, right? You can do that. You can do all of that on such a deep and intimate level, in my opinion, more than a traditional business. So if you guys are into statistics, I did tell you last night that there are stats that show what focusing on strengths do. So I wanted to provide that here for you. When you focus on strengths, there's a 12.5% increase in productivity. So like I said, I haven't been doing the business for like almost 2 years. July will make 2 years. And I feel like a new person coming in. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to go. There's all these tools. There's all these things that I can use. So imagine me sitting down and getting like ready for my 1 hour a day or whatever in the business, right? And I'm just like, and where do I start? I'm just like, well, I don't know what to do. If I focused on my strengths, which we went through yesterday, right? There is the strengths guide for builders in doTERRA's Empowered You section, which is where I got my slides from basically last night. Definitely use that tool, because if you focus on your strengths, it tells you exactly how you can leverage what you have and be more productive. So if I only have that hour, instead of me fiddling around with like, okay, I should envision this, or I need to think about that because I don't have strategic, I should be focusing on people. What is the impact I want to make on people, right? Because that's where my strengths lie. So just by you focusing on your new builders or even your strength alone, you can increase your productivity in those pockets of time that you have when you're first starting the business by 12.5%. It's amazing. And then also when you focus on strengths, there's a 6 times more engagement. So with a traditional business, the employees will be engaged with the company 6 times more if their manager is focusing on their strengths. Imagine that with your people, that if you're always talking about the things that they are naturally gifted at, there's going to be a 6 times more engagement with you, with what you're doing, with what you're trying to produce, with doTERRA. They're going to want to do LRP. They're going to want to go to these events. They're going to want to come to team calls because you're focusing on what I'm great at. I want to be there. That sounds awesome. And what's great about the engagement increase is that then there's an additional profit and productivity increase. So it's kind of just like a cycle that keeps going. So you focus on strengths and then you get the engagement. The engagement gets up, you're going to get higher profitability, 22%, higher productivity, 21%. Hey, you were already 12.5% more productive and now you're 21% more productive. Isn't that crazy that it just kind of cycles out like that? So it's really exciting when you do focus on strengths. And then there's clarity. Half of people are unsure about what they're supposed to do. And that's in a traditional business. Isn't that nuts? Like you go in for an interview, you know what the job is, you're applying for it. And then you get there and you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like half of people do that. That's crazy. The global engagement rate is only 13%. Guys, isn't that like, okay, I'm not good at mental math, but is that like 87% of people that are not engaged in their jobs? And therefore, like all those companies, all those places that they work for are not experiencing their highest potential because they're only working at a 13% engagement rate, right? And if half of people that are working don't know what they're supposed to do, that's so nuts. But if there's encouraged development, if there is strengths-focused leadership, then 9 out of 10 people are engaged. That increases that engagement rate again. And then the whole cycle starts all over. I hope you guys are following me. I'm not a numbers person, but it is kind of exciting. But just to show you that there is actual science behind it too. So that's exciting. Last night we went through the activity, This Is Me, or we called it This Is Us. But today I want to challenge you to dive deeper into that. Now, if you weren't with us, basically we went through our strengths report, highlighted the words and phrases that stuck out to us, and then chose one of our strengths that we're like, oh, that's me all day, every day. I feel that. I resonate with that. And then I wanted you to dive deeper and ask yourself, when do you get the best of me when I use this strength? When do you get the worst of me? And so now I want to challenge you to do that again. If you have a pen and paper, I would totally ask you to write this down. If you want to share in the chat, please do. But when do you get the best of you in that strength, right? So last night I shared one of the strengths I resonate with most is connectedness. So I shared that my middle daughter was diagnosed with Down syndrome early on in pregnancy. And I just remember believing that it was all going to be okay. In connectedness, you believe everything's going to come together for good. And so you get the best of me when I can believe in something greater than myself, right? If at anything else, Down syndrome was going to teach me how to love inclusively without any boundaries, right? So you got the best of me because I got to believe in that, right? Or you get the worst of me when you're maybe stifling my belief, or you're cornering me to believe a certain thing or not believe in something greater than myself. You can count on me when we're in a pickle. I'll believe us through it. I will have the faith to get us through it. It's not a problem. And this is what I need from other people. Just give me that freedom to believe. Give me that time and that space to connect. But I really want you guys to do that for your strengths, right? So this is me. And then even go deeper than that and think of it as a leader. So that was me on a personal level, right? As connectedness as a leader when I was in the mortgage industry. I was in it for 12 years. When I left, I was an assistant branch manager. So high leadership. It was definitely overwhelming, but they got the best of me when I could utilize that faith that, hey guys, we're going to get through this. Like, I know we're not all in sync right now. We're not all connected, but I believe that we are going to be. And then my other strengths kind of help solidify how we could do that. But the connectedness in general as a leader, I always had faith in the company and in what we were doing, that we could get the team to the next level, right? And you get the worst of me when we're talking over faith and we're just trying to do numbers and just trying to do stats and we're just trying to make a profit. Like, no, I don't believe in that. I believe that there's something greater. There's a greater impact. And then you can count on me, like I said, faith through it, that I will believe that we're going to get through this as a team. We're going to get through this together. And this is what I need from you, right? Loyalty. I need you to believe in me. When I feel that something good is going to come out of it, just trust me, because I really do. I do know that it will, right? So I want you guys to do that with your strengths. If anybody was on the call last night, since we went through it together, and they want to share, what was the strength you chose and how do you see that kind of playing out in these questions? If you want to share, feel free to. I'm going to move on, but please share. Okay, so the next level for you guys now, beyond the this is me, this is what I need, this is how I can benefit the company or benefit my business or benefit you that I'm coaching and mentoring, benefit you that I'm prospecting, these are areas for self-awareness. In the strengths certification that I took, they actually taught us about the Johari window. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's basically these 4 areas, and each area kind of opens you up to what you may or may not know about yourself. And so the first area is the open area, where your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are known by you and known by everyone else. This top area. So I'll go through each of them, and then I'm going to want us to take some time to actually dive into it. So if you have a paper, start creating like 4 quadrants, and then we'll go through it again. But your blind spot is what others see, but you might not see. So these could be misperceptions or misunderstandings of yourself, things that show up that you don't really know. Maybe when you're talking, okay, I'll share a personal example. My son was telling me the other day, whenever I get like super frustrated, this is a safe space, right? We're all honest here. When I get super frustrated, I go, son, and I like pause and I get like this mom faced grin on my face of like, I'm kind of sort of disappointed, but I'm not going to yell, but I'm going to be calm, cool, and collected. And I'm like, son, and my eyes get big. Anyway, he's like, can you please stop doing that? Every time you get mad, you do that. And my son's 6 years old, okay? And I'm like, okay, sure. But it's something I didn't notice really about my parenting, at least, which is a form of leadership. But I didn't notice. Or my dad, he was the leader of our company. He would grit his teeth when he felt he was unsure or not confident. So you would see his jaw clenching when he was super uncomfortable. I had another leader that would click their pen just constantly in the meeting when they, it annoys me just doing it, I'm sorry. But they would do that, or if they're upset, they would just drop the pen. And there's all these unspoken, what do they call it? Nonverbal communication, right? That we may not really notice about ourselves, but other people are fully aware, right? So that's your blind spot. Hidden area, thoughts, feelings, or behaviors known to you, but are unknown to others. So these could be past criticisms, your self-doubt, that voice in your head that tells you certain things, or the fear or anxiety that comes up. But we keep this hidden because of our insecurities. you want to expose these areas so that you can be self-aware and become the best version of yourself. And this last area is the unknown area, which is basically unclaimed potential. Can you imagine what's in that? Because we just don't see it. Nobody else sees it. We don't see it, but it's there, that God-given potential, right? So I want us to take some time, do your 4 quadrants, or do it here in the chat, however you guys want to do it. What is in your open area? What's there? What are stuff that everyone knows about you? I'm fun-loving. I'm spontaneous. I go with the flow. I am strong. I am futuristic, or whatever it is, right? I want you to write that in your open area, or share it here in the chat, whatever you want. And then move into the blind spot. This might take some feedback from maybe your mentor, yourself, or even the ones you're mentoring. Like, and you gotta be okay with that, right? You gotta be able to sip your tea a little bit and be like, okay, I'm gonna accept this part of me, right? So maybe give feedback to each other, and in love, right? Mana and grace, strength and grace. Like, we're all learning the best versions of ourselves. So and you can ask them, hey guys, how do I show up when I'm under pressure? Or like, do I only lead at the end of the month? Or do I only lead at this time? Do I only lead in online? Do I only lead at a distance? Like, really ask, and get that feedback. So write that in your blind spot area. And that hidden area, really get honest with yourself, right? Like, what don't I share with other people? And why don't I share it? Am I scared? Do I feel like it would demean my leadership if they knew this part of me? Would they think that I'm a phony? There's, what is it called? I'm trying to think. There's this thing, oh my gosh, I'm taking a business class, and we were talking about this imposter syndrome, where you start to do something and then you start to kind of self-sabotage, right? Where like, I'm not good enough to do that. Well, who am I to say this? Or what is that about, or whatever? That is that's totally normal. First of all, is what I learned. It's totally normal. But that's those areas creeping up, those hidden areas that we need to shut down and know that we are capable and we are able. Trust me, this in itself, guys, I hear that my imposter syndrome is coming up. But you just have to know and operate, right, in who you are. And then again, the unknown area, maybe start to brainstorm, or, if you believe in a higher power, ask it to show you, like, can you just shine a light on something that maybe I demeaned in earlier years? Like, maybe you were really great at drawing and creativity, but you just decided like, oh, that wasn't good enough, and I just suppressed that. But you could actually use that creativeness in your leadership now. So kind of get deep with that too. I hope you guys are doing it. I can't see you, so I'm gonna move on, but definitely take the time to do this. Okay, and how do you contribute to this in your leadership, right? So once you know all these things, you can really start to address how you're going to lead your team, how you're going to lead a builder, and it shows up in different ways. And what I love about when I was creating this for you guys is a lot of this training was based off of traditional business, right? And I love how it's applicable to this multi-level but heartfelt, impactful type of business model. So recruitment, how can you use your strengths intentionally to attract talent and expand the current strengths of your team, right? So when you're looking for other people, look at your strengths and go, you know what, this is what I bring to the table. This is what I offer. How am I attracting, or what am I attracting, or what is aligning with me that I can look for in others, right? because this is a people business, right? And you can definitely spot strengths in others. We talked about that a little bit yesterday too, of the 5 clues to talent: the yearning, the glimpses of excellence, the flow, all of that stuff, right? So you can see strength in people before they actually take the assessment. So when you're recruiting, how can you use your strengths to actually attract that and align with talents that you're looking for? And then engagement. How can you use your strengths to intentionally create an engaged environment where builders are enthusiastic about their business, right? And again, the engagement productivity cycle is powerful. So you can create that with what you have to offer, right? By knowing your leadership ability and knowing your strength. Performance. How can you use your strengths intentionally to define the right outcomes for a specific builder and allow them to find their route? So I shared a little yesterday too that traditional businesses, it's kind of hard for them to focus on strengths, right? Because they have a specific task or job that they need done. And if that's not getting done, sometimes it's easier to say, sorry, you need to move on. That's it. But it's a little bit more risky to be like, how do you see this being accomplished? Because I believe anybody can actually put their spin and twist and stamp their handprint on a task or job if we gave them the freedom to use their strengths, right? So you have to, as a leader, define what the right outcome is for that specific person, and then allowing them, by utilizing their strengths, to find the right route for them, right? Okay, and development. How can you use your strengths intentionally to help the team develop and align their talents? And I love this, so that you can create heroes every day. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Like, I love that. Like, that's what you guys do. You guys bring people home. You guys bring healing into homes. You get people to see the potential of themselves. You're creating a hero in somebody every time you invest in them, right? So that's because of your strength coming out and performing, right? So yeah. Aw, Charity, yes, believing in the potential. You're so cute. All in the feels, all the oils right now, right? So now it's like, okay, I know me, I'm in my feels, I know what I can do. I am woman, hear me roar, I got this, right? We're so stoked. Okay, well, now what though? So to apply it, I would suggest creating a way that you can see your strengths as a whole. And I actually have this team grid, and I hope I can share it. Guys, I'm nervous because of the tech stuff, but hope it doesn't bonk out on me as I'm showing it to you. Okay, so I'll show you 2 types of grids. This is the first grid. It's a copycat of Gallup, or the company that facilitates the CliftonStrengths assessment. It's a copycat of it. So you'll see these are the people that I helped lead at my dad's company. But basically, on this grid, it puts it into the 4 domains like we talked about yesterday, right? Executing, influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. And then it names all of those strengths that lie within each domain. And then on the left, it says who the people are and what number that strength is for them. Okay, so if we look at me, I have 2 in executing and 3 in relationship building, right? Oh, I love that you guys love it. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we can make it together. I can give it to you to do yourself. But yeah, of course. Great. I'm glad you like it, because what's really awesome about it is, one, you see it as a big picture, right? So let me try to zoom out here a little bit. Maybe that might be too small, but okay, hopefully you guys can still see this and get the gist of it. So if we're just looking at it from this 5,000, 10,000 foot view, right? We're like, okay, there's all these pockets. Like, I see just gaps right here, and I don't know if I like, what does that mean? So, okay, if I have someone in marketing, here, I'll show you one of our marketers is this one. I'm sorry, not marketing. He was in IT. He has strategic thinking. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, well, I shouldn't count on him to go to the events and I don't know, get people excited about our company because he's more of a thought-driven person, right? Or okay, I'll show you my marketing people. Marketing, she didn't have a lot in executing, but she could get people excited and start thinking about other concepts that we needed, right? So again, very different from a traditional business for you guys. But what I love is that it's a people thing, right? You're just learning about your people. And so let's say all these people were business builders or in the organization. We can just look and be like, I keep trying to do these super big events and like getting people to come, but nobody's coming. Well, okay, wait, we don't have a lot of influencing. That's why. Maybe we shouldn't do that. We have a whole lot of relationship building though. And you know what? More intimate, 1 to 5 maybe would be better for our team, Or we need like a brainstorming session maybe. And again, I don't build the business like you guys do, so you may know more of this than I would. But if you're trying to collaborate with people on your team and you guys have more strategic thinking, that might fuel you as opposed to doing those other types of events, right? But this is kind of what it gives you, just an overall big picture view of that. Ash, you said, are you talking to me, Ash? Because he's strategic. Oh, don't expect him to show up to events because he's strategic, but you can use him for things in the office or whatever. Yeah, totally, right? But this is just your big picture view. Again, different than traditional business for you guys, but this is one way you can look at it. Now, I don't think this way. This kind of was difficult for me when I learned it at my training. I was like, there's a lot of numbers. I want to put them in order. Like, I don't really know. So in case you have a different way of looking at things, I created, it's on my own. This is your guys' team. This is the ones I got so far. I think I got one more this morning, so I'm sorry if it's not on here. But this helped my brain a little better. So just depending on how you look at it, that's why I said you can create your own. I can send you that sheet. You can do it yourself. But this gives me a big picture view of like, there's a lot of blue. There's a lot of purple. I see a few red, some yellow, so whatever resonates with you, I would just highly suggest you guys coming up with some kind of big concept, big picture view of your team and go from there. Okay, cool. I'm so glad you guys like it. So we can definitely work on that together. Okay, let me go back to presenting. Hopefully you guys can see it. Let's try. Give me a thumbs up when it's presenting good, or like a good to go, or yay, or whoop whoop, or something when you can see it. Hopefully back on the slides. Ashley said, I have notes in all kinds of places. Everyone's strengths. This sheet is everything. Yes, it organizes it, right? Good? Okay, awesome. So when you look at the grid, again, kind of sort of went through the questions you can ask yourself, but what are your thoughts? What are your observations on your team? Where are you lacking, or where is it dominant for both the domain and then the strengths itself, right? So if you're wanting to tap in to communication specifically, how many people do I actually have with communication? And maybe you're finding a strength that you're working on. You have your relator and you're just like, where are my relators at? Like, and you see them, and then you can just share that knowledge with them too. Like, this is what I'm working on with my relator. In the event that you want to work on it too, this could resonate with you. So it kind of gives you a lot of different options to connect with your team more. Green, you said, I'm trying to get my personal team to take the test. It's going to help so much knowing, especially from leadership standpoint. Yeah, as I grow my business, absolutely. I mean, I have everybody I know take it, honestly. It's kind of like my secret power. I feel like, oh, if I know your strength, then I can talk to you. It's almost like the love languages. And I would highly suggest partnering it. I think Ash mentioned it last night on the intro, partnering the love languages with the strengths. Because then it's like, Oh, got it. I get how you want to be loved and recognized. And we'll kind of go over that on a business side too. But yeah, so come up with some kind of team grid, or I'll send you guys that out, or if you want me to help you work on it, totally down. Okay, and so just remember again, you don't have to remember everybody's strengths. Oh, Charity, you said my girls took it. I feel like I need to better understand how to channel that for them. So yesterday was, oh, good. Oh, I'm so glad. You know, I never really got to look into it, but like I said, Gallup has so many resources, but they actually have, okay, don't quote me, but like from ages 6 to 14, I think that can take a different type of assessment. I'm sure you guys remember when you were taking it, it was so fast and like big words, and you're like, I don't know which one to choose, but that was the intention, right? And so they have a version for kids, and I have to find it. Don't quote me on it again. I'll look into it if you guys are interested, but I need you to come with us, Alissa. I need to keep it in my notebook with their mentor notes. You're so cute. Yeah, I can. However you need help, we can explore all these strengths together, right? But back to the grid, when you're looking at your grid, again, you don't have to remember every single person's strength. However, I'm a little cuckoo manuku like that, and I do. Basically, like I can try to remember at least 3. For me, like we said in the beginning, because I like to call on their strengths. Like I know mine inside out, side upside down, right? But I like to know what's in their tool belt too, right? Like I said, I was talking with marketing and IT and loan officers and a whole bunch of different people. I gotta know, okay, wait, this guy, I remember. And for me, that's why my grid or my spreadsheet was a little easier for me, because it's color coded differently than the numbers were, right? And I can remember colors. So I was like, you had like 3 blues, I think. So let me relate to you on that level, right? So again, don't get intimidated by your grid once you guys start building it out. And Ash, I'm sure yours would be huge if every single person on your team ever took an assessment, right? So maybe just remembering the colors, or remembering just the domains, right? So again, the domains: executing, knowing how to make things happen; influencing, know how to take charge and speak up to make sure the team is heard; relationship building, ability to build strong relationships, can hold teams together and make the team greater than the sum of its parts, right? Strategic thinking, helping consider that what could be by absorbing and analyzing information to make better decisions. So those are your 4 domains. Each of your strengths are categorized into those domains to help you just have a bigger picture thinking of strengths, right? Okay, so know your builders. So this is specifically for your team, and as you're building, when you're identifying who's going to come or who's not going to come, what types of tasks or responsibilities or expectations is important to that person. When you're starting that relationship, it's kind of important to know, remember how we did the pipes, right? With my traditional business coaching, I did, what do you do every single day that you get paid to do, right? But like, what do you have to do every single day at work? And so they listed it out. Okay, I want you to pick the top 3. Okay, pick the top 3. Now I want you to pick, with those top 3, I want you to connect it to your strength, right? So what's beautiful about doTERRA is that we have pipes. So you don't really have to think about exactly all the little things, the nuances you need to do. And what's so beautiful is that they have this strengths guide that shows you like, okay, within this strength, I can do this, right? But maybe even ask them on like the day-to-day, because this is more than just a business, right? We're connecting our families, and you guys do the health overviews where you're learning like, what is important to me right now? Is it emotional well-being? Is it health? Which if you guys were on the call last night, you can kind of pick up on what those are from the values, right? People are telling you their values in their health overview. Like, okay, that's what means the most to them. So you just ask them what types of tasks, responsibilities, and expectations are important to them. The expectations part is huge. My dad taught me this as a leader, that setting expectations both ways. What do you expect from me as your leader? And then this is what I expect from you. And I think Ash did that, like a coaching or mentoring agreement. totally lean into that, because you folks can always reference that back to each other and like, this is what we agreed to be for each other. And when you have, when you have strengths, that helps empower it and solidify it even more, right? You can lean on those strength terms. Okay. What value does this person bring to the team or to their business? So you got to think, what beyond their strengths, what value are they going to bring? And then what motivates them? Is it money? Is it family? Is it time? What is it, right? Another typo, friends. Sorry. What are their goals and aspirations? And then what are their challenges, right? Just get to know them so that you can really identify what you can connect with from your strengths point of view, right? So if they're saying that the most important thing for them is to do checklists every day, and you're an achiever, you're like, yes, like, got it, we can do that all day long. But if they're saying like, I just want to like cruise and hang out and like have a little girl time, like, okay, yeah, that's a relationship side. I can do that, or set the expectation like, I can do it in this way or that way. But as a leader, then you'll be able to see what is valuable to them, almost like they're giving you the values grid of their life, and you can be like the 10,000-foot view, like, okay, this is how I can contribute to that, right? So know your builder, and then find out what you folks have in common. How are you similar? Are there strengths that make you similar? And not necessarily meaning the same strength, but if I have relationship building and you have relationship building, gosh, that you get me. You understand where I'm coming from, right? Or I can understand where you're coming from. Just fine. How are you both similar? How are you both different? How do they complement each other? Like, is there a strength that you have that I don't have? So, for example, my dad, who is my leader, had maximizer, which is you see the potential and you want to make it from good to great, right? Anything under good is no good. We're not messing with it. But for me, I have restorative, which is problem solving. And I saw, basically, another way to say it is you revive what is looked at as dead. So in areas of his business, when it wasn't like thriving, or like people were kind of like getting disengaged or whatever, that would fuel me, but that would make him so upset. But so what I would do is get them to a good space and then pass them off to him. And then, here, Dad, you can make them great, or whatever that is. So maybe see that even though we're so different, I can utilize you in those pockets that I'm not so great at, right? Because we don't want to focus on our weaknesses. Like we said yesterday, you're only going to get good at the weakness. I'm going to shine bright in my star of my 5 strengths. You shine bright in yours, and we'll lean on each other in that. Okay, and then see opportunities. Does the builder have the opportunity to use their strength every day? What adjustments, if any, can you make to help them use their strengths more often or to its full extent? And how can you use your strength to motivate and address their developmental needs? So coming into this, like I said, I'm new again, so it feels like, I don't know where to start. You as leaders could see that type of fear or uncertainty and leverage your strengths to help motivate, and then knowing theirs, know what motivates them too, right? And the whole point of all of this is to come together for successful partnerships, right? And coming together is the beginning, keeping together is progress, and working together is success. That's what Henry Ford said. So the goal to create successful partnerships is complementing each other's strengths, understanding both people are needed to reach the goal. As a leader, you have a lot of potential in helping them reach theirs, right? You have a lot that you can do to help them get to their next level. And then each person will be naturally gifted or better at something, right? So I may not resonate with all that thoughts and strategic, but I can do people, right? But anyway, that's actually it. I know some of you are hopping off, but that was it for the leadership portion. I wanted to keep it within the hour. for you guys. But if you have any questions or thoughts, you can let me know now. Those that are leaving, bye. Thank you so much for coming. Yesterday, folks asked about coaching opportunities and stuff, and I did mention that I'm new at this, so I came up with some pricing opportunities. Definitely work with me. I'm here for feedback. This is my first real outside of the company that I was with, the traditional business. This is my first time getting my own opportunity to coach, right? So you guys already have the assessments. If you don't, it's $20. I can help facilitate that for you. If you want to do an upgrade, it's $40. Again, I can help facilitate that for you too. And the upgrade is basically getting all full 34. Like I said yesterday, you have full access to all 34. And you can upgrade to get that $40. And then if you want to do one time, just you and me chatting about the report or answering any specific questions that you have, we can do that. Or if you want to do like a 3-layered session, we can do that too. And that's using the Name It, Claim It, Aim It. Or if you want to do a group session like this again, you can do that as well. But yeah, that's it. Ash has a question, so let's go to Ash. What up, girl?
Yeah. Okay. So I know this can be beneficial for all of you. This question comes from, like, you did strengths with your dad's company. And with your dad's company, I want to try and find the similarities and the differences, because that's a company where you kind of have to work as a team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's different departments and you're all kind of going towards one goal. Is that correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
For doTERRA, it's similar but different in a sense of
Right.
like, we're all our own business owners.
Right.
So I want to know, I know you said last night, please, Gigi, hold on. I know you said last night you noticed that achievers kind of start to gravitate towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
As like, say, like, I'm a leader who finds builders. As I find new builders and I want to pair them with the right people to work in teams, not really work like a group, like there's a boss and there's people and you all have your strengths together, but work in teams and get along and motivate each other and push each other. How would you place people? Like, please, Gigi, stop. Like similar domains, or was it categories?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Categories,
or,
domains, yeah.
or people that are different and put them together. Like, what would you think the best way to get people into teams within a doTERRA business structure is?
Okay, so this is where I'm going to rely on you heavily too, because I haven't done that yet, right? So are you asking when you have a new builder and you're going to be placing them on a team, how do you use the strengths part to do that? Yeah. Is that the question?
Yeah.
Okay. Is another part of the question, like, how do you just connect the people on the team with strengths, or was it specifically like where to place them in the organization?
Yeah, I think where to place them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, great question. I mean, you guys kind of have an upper hand, I think, right? With this concept of really leveraging the strengths for placement. So in a traditional business, it's illegal for you to do the strengths assessment and then put them where you think they're supposed to go. So that's not an opportunity where we can know what they're good at and then place them, right? We can just be like, oh, well, we thought you were going to think more, but okay, that's fine. We just have to redirect what the goal is for that position. So I think there's a ton of leverage that you can have. And if I'm understanding the question correctly, you as the leader can look at the other leaders or the other people that you're trying to place them with, and maybe do like a traditional business pre-interview, I guess, like what is all those questions, maybe have them answer all those questions and be like, okay, I'm really going to look for somebody that I can place you with to give you the most advantage in your development here on the team. Something like that, right? And then you can take the time as a leader go back to that strengths grid and be like, okay, big picture, like this, maybe this person would be better to help them with that, or, you know, something like that. I think I that's powerful leverage because you can partner people well together. Also, I think I mentioned yesterday that then in the Strength Finders 2.0 book, they actually gives you recommendations of who to partner with, right? So if you see that achievers go to achievers, then okay, maybe I need to put this achiever with that. But also doing that pre-interview thing might actually give you what you guys learned yesterday of which one resonates with you though. I got all 5, maybe all 5 do. But for me, my third one resonated, not my first. So you may be looking at my achiever, but I really like my connectedness. I really like my relator. I really like, I don't know, my woo, you know? So maybe asking those questions too before doing the placement. I hope that answers your question.
No, yeah, it did. I'm just like,
Okay.
where do I start?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, again, that's the part I don't know yet because I haven't done it. But when you are finding a builder, are there questions that you ask to start
Yeah.
them building, right?
Yeah. So mostly what we're trying to do is see if they're committed and capable. So, and that's what doTERRA has taught us. Are they committed and are they capable? What role
Yeah.
do they play? Share, builder, leader. And
Mm-hmm.
then we kind of place according to what are the open spots in the team,
Mm-hmm.
right? But, and then I try to look at like where people live. Because if
Mm.
people live in the same area, they can start to do classes together. And I try to look at
Yeah.
their personalities and I think if they'll get
Yeah.
along, right?
Yeah.
But I think kind of like putting the strengths in, I just don't know if like, okay, if I should put the achievers together or if I should, or if I should put
Mm.
people that have different strengths together to work together. That's
Yeah.
like the tricky part.
Yeah, I think too, you would have to have your the leaders that you're working with on, like, if they're going under another type of leader, they have to be strong in the strengths knowledge too, to know what they're getting, I guess, you know, to say it that way. Like, okay, I know how to coach this person this way because I know myself, I know what I have to offer, I know what I have to ask them, I know how to engage with them. So I think that would be important too, that they understand like they're being placed here because you have that maximizer and they have that restorative, and they're not gonna get it to great, but that's where you come in, you know, or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
I feel like that would be me kind of figuring that out.
Yeah.
And then my leaders, like Giselle's one of the leaders on this call, trying to
Yeah.
see like what kind of strengths that she feels that she could lead. So like, is it
Yeah.
strengths similar to hers, or is it strengths that are opposite? Like, 'cause one of her strengths is restorative, so she's problem
Mm-hmm.
solver, right?
Yeah.
So would you recommend like she works with people who have maximizer? Is that what you said?
So I think at the end of the day, it's really just leading with what the person has, right? So I mean, I can have whatever I want, and that's going to be my filter on how I see the opportunity. But really leading with what does that person, the new builder, resonate with, and that's how you have like lead the person. Um, so I mean, you could partner them with anybody really, and just learning that you have to leverage each other's strengths to get the best result, right? Because like I was saying, in traditional business, we don't have the opportunity to be like, oh, you have strategic, you're going with IT, you know, or whatever. So we have to really get to know each other and make it work. So I don't think um, anything is wrong, a wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
But in the book, like I said, it does mention, you know, rely on X strength to help you with this. So maybe really looking at that too. But I don't think it would hurt the team in any way if you quote unquote misplaced them somewhere.
Right. Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Lots of things.
Any other questions or thoughts?
Anybody have questions? Are you guys good? Okay.
Yeah, if you guys do have any other questions offline, you can text me, email me, or anything like that. If you want to go deeper too on like, wait, what's what's this strength going to show up like? You know, I feel like it's intimidating. Like, there's one we did not have in our organization called Command, and the minute that came in, that person didn't know how to utilize it. They're just like, oh, this is like intimidating almost, right? So if you come across your strengths that you're like, I don't know what to do with this, or something on your team, or you have a member on your team that's wanting to achieve something and they're just not getting there, maybe just getting a little deeper in strengths might help. I can totally help you guys with that. You as a coach, you as a mentor, how do you get better at mentoring or with strengths? And then, or them individually, whatever works for you guys. But really wanted to empower you guys to be able to know the power of your strengths and the power of other people's strengths so that you could do this. Like this isn't proprietary information. Like this is for you to fill your tank to know what you can give to your team every single day. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, it's about you and what your strengths are and what you can offer, right? Of
Mm-hmm.
course. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna turn the recording off.